Dr. Julius No was a fictional nuclear scientist and operative of the secretive criminal organization, Spectre, who used his knowledge and wealth to threaten a U.S. rocket launch. The villain was based on the literary character who first appeared in the 1958 Ian Fleming novel, Dr. No, and was portrayed by the late Canadian actor, Joseph Wiseman, in the 1962 film of the same name. The first main antagonist in the EON Productions film series, No was also referenced in its sequel, the 1963 James Bond film From Russia with Love. He later appeared in numerous games adapted from the franchise, including GoldenEye, Rogue Agent, 2004, and 007 Legends, 2012. As the first main antagonist in the film series, No helped set up some of the characteristics of later villains and as such is still sometimes recognized as one of the best villains in the series. Cold-tempered, always thoughtful and absolutely unscrupulous, Dr. No seemed convinced of his intellectual superiority. To achieve his ends, he did not hesitate to step on corpses and ruthlessly eliminate anyone who got in the way of his plans or who ventured near his private island. He was also refined and elegant and was surprisingly welcoming to Bond and Honey Rider during their stay at his base. In addition, like other higher-ranking Spectre agents who would appear in later films, Dr. No was intolerant of failure as he severely reprimanded Professor Dent after several failed assassination attempts on Bond's life. Dr. Julius No is a brilliant scientist with an implied Napoleon complex. He is of Eurasian ancestry, as a self-described, unwanted child of a German missionary and a Chinese girl of a good family. He later became treasurer of the most powerful criminal society in China, in this case, the Tongs. He then escaped to America with $10 million of Tong gold bullion, using it to fund his subsequent criminal activities on Crab Key, Jamaica. He specialized in atomic energy, costing him both of his hands, which were replaced with crude, metal bionic appendages. These new hands were strong enough to crush a metal figurine with ease, but were lacking in manual dexterity. He offered his skills and expertise to the Americans and Soviets, but was rejected. In revenge, No joined the criminal organization Spectre. Unlike his literary counterpart, the cinematic Dr. No appears as a slim, middle-aged Caucasian man with slightly epicanthal eyes, due to his Chinese heritage. Closely shaven and his dark hair always neatly combed back, the well-groomed doctor dressed himself in equally well-tailored, cream-colored Nehru suits. Dr. No learns from his associate, local geologist Professor R.J. Dent, that British Secret Service agent John Strangways has been investigating his activities on Crab Key, obtaining suspiciously radioactive rock samples from the island. This prompts No to deploy his enforcers, the three blind mice, to kill the inquisitive Strangways and his secretary Mary Trueblood. Fellow British spy, James Bond, is subsequently sent to Jamaica by his superior M to investigate their murders. Hoping to keep Bond from intruding on his business, Dr. No gives both the mice and Dent orders to eliminate him. However, Bond manages to survive and kill his would-be assassins. He then sails with local fisherman Coral to investigate Dr. No's radioactive activities on Crab Key. There, they encounter shell diver Honey Rider, who confides that she believes that Dr. No was been responsible for the death of her father when he went shell diving at Crab Key and didn't return. No zealously protects his privacy on the island using a flame-throwing tank the locals fearfully refer to as a dragon. Coral is subsequently incinerated by the vehicle, whose crew take Bond and Honey captive. The pair are held in Dr. No's bauxite mine lair, finally meeting the Doctor face-to-face in his personal subaquatic apartment, lavishly decorated with a large concave ocean window, and the recently stolen Goya painting. 1. Dining with his helpless prisoners, No recounts his life story and explains his scheme to electronically sabotage the U.S. Project Mercury spaceflight program on behalf of Spectre. When his operation on Crab Key is concluded, he will destroy the island, and move on to another target. Disappointed by Bond's lack of appreciation and vision, the infuriated Doctor has 007 beaten and thrown in a cell. While No prepares to topple the rocket from his control room, Bond escapes captivity and disguises himself in a hazmat suit. No mistakes him for one of the engineers, presenting the spy with an opportunity to overload the facility's atomic reactor. As the reactor proceeds to melt down, Dr. No faces Bond in a last-ditch effort to salvage his plans, but to no avail. In their ensuing struggle, the two men fall onto a platform descending into the bubbling reactor coolant. Bond manages to climb to safety, but Dr. No is unable to pull himself up using his prosthetics and is boiled to death. Ian Fleming wanted his friend Noel Coward to portray No, but the latter answered the invitation with "No. No. No." Fleming also considered that his step-cousin, Christopher Lee, would be good for the role, although, by the time Fleming told the producers, they had already chosen Joseph Wiseman for the part. Lee would later go on to star as Francisco Scaramanga, the main antagonist of The Man with the Golden Gun. Swedish actor Max von Sydow was also offered the role as Dr. No, but decided to turn it down. He would later appear as Ernst Stavro Blofeld in the unofficial James Bond film Never Say Never Again. Producer Harry Saltzman picked Wiseman because of his performance in the 1951 film Detective Story. But later in his life, the actor viewed the film with disdain, and preferred to be remembered for his theater career. Being Caucasian, Wiseman had special makeup applied to evoke No's Chinese heritage.